These are the ruins of Frankenstein's castle. Once it was a proud and stately building, filled with life and excitement, mad and perverse experiments. But now it is empty and crumbling. It lies rotting somewhere behind the Iron Curtain, a lonely place in rural eastern Germany where no one ever comes except to die. Surrounding this dead place is death itself, an archaic and awful graveyard. It might have amused Victor Frankenstein to know that the grounds of his estate had been converted to a cemetery, were he not interred there himself. Now, where better can we start our tale than such a classic locale, where is present the corpse. Siegfried Klausmann is a young man, and not long ago he was appointed by the state to keep the grounds of Frankenstein's castle. And here his young wife is buried. And here he cries by her graveside every day, for they were in love and had planned a long and happy future together. A long and happy future somewhere else. For though they both loved Germany, they despised the Russian communists who had came and dominated their land after the war. They planned an escape to the west, but Anna died of a lung disease before they might affect their plans. Siegfried still lives and still plans. He hoards the money that the state grants him, and someday he hopes to use it to buy false papers to get over the border. But he has other, less legitimate means of supplementing this meager stipend than just living like a pauper. The state provides him with expensive granite headstones for the dead. Siegfried obtains extra funds from them by chiseling into them the names of their owners. He does not abide strictly by the rules, though. He sells the pure granite stones on the black market for a remarkable price, and substitutes poorer grade limestone obtained for free from the nearby desecrated castle. By and by, Siegfried came to realize that he could earn even more by other methods, even less legitimate methods. He took to murdering locals from time to time, thereby creating extra employment for himself. Without Anna, without her love to sustain him, Siegfried was a man without a conscience. After a time, he found his activities quite amusing, and before long he would have had enough money to make good his escape. But fate had a word or two to interject, and one day there was a knock on his cottage door.
Siegfried Klausmann, we have questions for you.
Questions?
I am an inspector from the Bureau of Restoration.
The Bureau of...
Yes, Sir Klausmann. We are here to do a restoration on the castle. I have been looking around. I see you've been supplementing your income somewhat. Do you think we are stupid, Klausmann? Your stones are crumbling, weathering. You are substituting common limestone for the headstones and disposing of the granite to fill your own pockets.
Klausmann was cornered. By arguing, a bigger investigation would doubtless follow, and they would discover his acts of homicide. It was better to admit to this smaller crime than to have them discover the larger. He was tried and convicted to 14 years in a labor camp. By the 4th month of his confinement, he was so nervous and unbalanced, he was on the edge of utter madness.
Oh my God! I can't possibly take it anymore. It was bad enough on the outside, so constricted by rules and establishment regulations. Oh God, I can't take it. I can't live in this hellhole. I must get out.
He attempted a desperate break for freedom, which failed.
God, no!
Fatally. The following morning, Siegfried Klausmann was buried unceremoniously in the prison yard of the Berswan labor camp. That night, he finally made good his escape. He ripped up the wooden coffin till it splintered and opened. He ripped at the earth with his half-solid skeletal fingers, tore at the earth, and clawed it till it moved aside to let him rise. Rise out of that filthy pit they threw him into. Rise out to join the others.
I'm dead?
You are. We all are. Your body, you realize, no doubt, is a half-solid being. Not solid and not.
Not.
A good overall definition of what you are now. Not much of anything.
I am one thing that I was not before.
At what cost? Better dead than red.
Siegfried Klausman, now the corpse, laughed at the other corpse's bad joke. Then he turned and smiled as he walked out the prison. Never had he felt so free. Never had he been so free. The corpse walked 250 miles till he came to a certain graveyard and a certain grave.
Anna!
Once there, he knelt by the side of her grave and gently called her voice.
Anna! Return to me! Anna!
Anna seemed to sweep her half-solid form out of the grave. She saw Siegfried looking at her with swollen eyes, tears oozing from them.
Siegfried, oh!
And she was happy.
Siegfried, my darling!
And they kissed as tenderly and sweetly and softly as they had done in life. But they were not alone.
So, Herr Klausman, you returned to the scene of your crime. Did you think you could come back without our retribution? We knew we would get you someday, you murderer. But by returning right into our arms, you have done a very foolish thing.
You think so? I don't. You must think me stupid not to have realized you could confront me. I realized you would when I saw the others undead at the prison. I knew you would be waiting for me when I came for Anna. Then I realized, what can you do to me? What can you do to a dead man?
You are truly stupid, Herr Klausman. As stupid and arrogant in death as you were in life. Do you not think we know this? We will have our vengeance, Klausman. We will, all right. This is the grave of Victor Frankenstein. As you know, Herr Frankenstein is a genius. He will implement a plan which, it will achieve our ends. Herr Frankenstein, get up, get out here.
What is it you want? I am too old to be interested in this earth. I just want to sleep, to be left alone.
Would you not be interested in reliving your earlier days of glory, Herr Frankenstein? Would you not like to experiment again?
At this, Victor Frankenstein became excited again for the first time in 150 years. He shambled, oozing to his lab and prepared his apparatus with the sweetest of care. He ordered the strapping down of the dead thing with great enjoyment. Again, he was going to create life. What the dead things did in that castle that morning was strange, ironic even. They punished a man for his crimes by giving him life. As Siegfried returned to the realm of the living, the other dead things seemed to dull and finally vanish from his sight.
Anna! My God,
He was a
Anna!
hopeless,
Don't
living
leave
corpse.
Me, Anna!
And what can a living corpse do? He cannot die, but he cannot truly live. Of course, the features of a corpse are not easily accepted by polite society. So the corpse covered himself in a white cloak and began to walk away from this castle, away from his home, away from the cemetery he had tended those long years. He headed west, as he had always planned. And at last, he walked into the western sector and entered. But he did not smile, for corpses do not smile. He was free, in a manner of speaking, but corpses are not free. He was alive, in a manner of speaking, but corpses are not alive.